So let's talk about packing. That's the real moment for me, at least, where I realize like I'm really about to do something crazy. I wouldn't even say crazy, but I'm really about to do something wild. Because before I went on my gap year, I did go to California, and from California I flew to Panama, where I'm half Panamanian, so I went there to go visit some family. And the first time I bought that bag, and I was like, man, I gotta pack this. This is the only thing I'm gonna have for. I think that trip was maybe about a month. Just a little test run. What it's like living out of bag. So like, what's it like actually packing the bag before the trip?
It's probably the most nerve-wracking thing to first pack that bag and about to get on that plane. I probably finished packing my bag maybe 2 hours before I got on the plane. So that
it looked like it, man, because you had so much stuff in your bag.
Or 2.5 hours before, because you traveling international, so you gotta be there like 2 hours. So I was like, the shit is not fitting. You know what I'm saying? And continuously, like you get things, you think you're prepared, and then you're like, damn, I forgot this. I go to the store and get this. Because at the time, like, you going somewhere you've never been before, so you don't really know what you need. Some of that stuff you don't need. Yeah. Like, I never used the earplugs for the loud hostel nights. Hostels weren't that loud, except for that one Wild Rover. But other than that, like, there's stuff you don't need. It's just stuff that you do need. That's a necessity you really don't know. So you try to pack everything until you figure that out. So,
and that's why I think, like, based on what you're saying, I think that's why everybody, before they actually do a big trip, they should do like a small trip with whatever bag. And this is for people kind of more so backpacking, not people necessarily taking suitcases, but
women.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Y'all be packing down 8, 10 shoes.
Yeah, basically. So it's like you should take that small trip to get a test run and realize the things that you really need and things that you don't really need. I think, but when it came to Justin though, I feel like you was good on packing, man. You came pretty prepared. There's a few things I think you might have overpacked, because when you left the trip and I stayed back in Colombia, when you came at home, you gave me all that food, popcorn, oatmeal.
Straight up.
He had a whole survival pack in his bag.
Some of that stuff I actually got from that girl that was at the hostel. But I mean, yeah, for me, similar to his experience, I remember the night before my flight, I was really about to just say, like, screw this, I'm not going. Like, my flight was at like 6:30, and I was sitting there like 2 a.m. still trying to get all this stuff to fit in my bag, and I was like, man, I had to leave a lot of stuff behind. And honestly, I think that's another thing. You need to have a good list of what you're going to be taking, because originally the liters that I had was 55, and I thought that was going to be enough. But come the night before my flight, I found out it wasn't, so it was too late. So definitely, on addition to the practice run with the bag, make sure you have the right number of liters for the bag.
And I think, most people would say, 55, and then I had a 75 liter, the Osprey pack, what's it called? Fairview or Fairpoint?
Fairpoint.
Yeah. I think that was good. I think originally I had recommended y'all to 55 because y'all was just doing 6 months.
I recommended you to 55.
Because
You got to 75, yeah.
To get it on the carry-on.
Yeah, that was that was before you even moved. Yeah, we was already looking at that bag before you even left when you got you.
Yeah.
He was planning for it.
Yeah. So how did it feel actually getting on the plane? Because y'all both flew separately. Y'all both came down at separate times. Right. So, like, for me, always sitting in the plane and buckling my seatbelt, and that takeoff is just, I don't know. The adrenaline you kind of get from that, it starts to become addictive. I don't know if you noticed that. I think that's what part of, getting bit by that travel bug, just getting on that airplane and it's taking off and you're like, off to another adventure. But I know y'all couldn't have foreseen exactly what the South America trip was going to become, but how was it getting on that plane?
Go first.
It was definitely a feeling. When I started in Colombia, like, their brothers had came with us, and I rode with his brother, so it didn't hit me just yet, just because I had a
familiar face on board.
So, but when we when they left us and then we went to our next city, that's when I'm like, wow, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm like, damn.
That's
Yeah,
really true.
that is true.
Even when I went to Panama, I didn't feel like that. I mean,
Yeah, because you
I
met
got
me
on-
there,
I
and
got
my
on
family.
a plane, of course, by myself, but like,
Yeah.
I just probably quit work a week and a half before that. I got on the plane like the 14th or 19th of December, right before Christmas. So I was relieved, like, it's like a vacation. You know what I'm saying? Did Panama, you know what I'm saying, Colombia for New Year's with you know, us and, you know, two
Our brothers, yeah.
And then after that, immediately going to the next destination, it's like, yo, it was like we're just us three in the ocean. It's like it's just us three.
So, what were some things that you were hoping or thinking that you would get out of this trip? Like, you know, on your way developing to when you actually got on the plane and everything and got down to South America, did you have any sort of expectations or what was you hoping to get from the trip?
Shit, it's Spanish.
Spanish.
It's bachata.
Bachata.
This damn salsa. These damn empanadas. For
Facts.
sure.
Facts.
But yeah, other than the Latin culture in itself, because, you know, we went to when we went to Puerto Rico, you know what I'm saying? You know, like I said, I had some Latin people in my life before that, so it's like just that culture in itself, that live music culture,
That warmth.
you know what I'm saying? I always want the warm, you know what I'm saying? I always want the hot weather, so that it's just a different feeling. I mean, I haven't been to the Caribbean, nothing yet, but I know what that felt like. So, wanting to get that for sure, especially being in the wintertime. We went December.
Yeah, you were leaving winter here.
You know, leaving winter here in North Carolina, December, and we went to South America in the summertime.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Also, just being just a feeling of being. You know, you meeting different people from around the world.
So it sounded like you wanted to be more connected.
Yeah. I mean, and also
As a global citizen.
yeah, because I mean, you only know where you're from. You know, if you only stayed in one place. I've been living in North Carolina basically all my life. I have traveled here and there. You know, a quick 1 week vacation here and there, but you've been here all your life, so this is all really you know. You know, so and also like being at hostels, actually you living with these people. You know what I'm saying? One here, one gone the next day. Like that travel feeling that everybody's moving. You know what I'm saying? Y'all moving separately, but also connect at the same time. It's a weird feeling because after that, you might meet these people again in a whole nother country.
Yeah.
So it was definitely that's what I wanted to get out of it. I think I got that.
What about you, Justin? Sometimes it's hard to figure out what you want to get out of things, but what were you hoping to get out of this trip?
I guess one big thing was just, you know, what's life like outside of Western culture? Because I had never been, let's see, with the exception of maybe going to the Caribbeans, going outside of the fancy resort to this market, I had never really seen, you know, life outside of, you know, Western culture or the tourist culture. So just being able to live in like another regular society, you know, how would it compare to the U.S.?
That's true.
And, you know, touching on what he said about the hostels, I remember when I went to Ireland with some of my old coworkers, my male coworker friend, he was saying we should stay in hostels, which I didn't even really know what a hostel was at that point. I think I had heard Leon talk about hostels, but I didn't really know what they were. But when he told me what they were, I was like, honestly, I think I'm good. You know, staying in a building with a bunch of strangers sleeping in the same room. Nah. But then when I found out that's pretty much what we were going to be doing on South America, I was like, well, I guess it would be pretty interesting to see what that's like. And I actually really liked it a lot. I mean, it's essentially like college, like a college dorm room.
Yeah.
Except, you know, it's not as private. I mean, people be doing all types of crazy stuff. So.
I think he hit the nail on the coffin when he said
On the head.
that's the same thing though. Hit it on the coffin, right? You put the nail in the coffin.
I don't think so.
Anyway, when he was talking about going down there and not being being a tourist but not being a tourist, not staying in hotels, fancy resorts, actually
immersing into the culture.
You come out your hostel, you walk down the block,
and you're sometimes in a neighborhood.
You're in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
You local restaurants, local shopping malls, food off the street.
I don't know if you ever noticed too. It's like when you got hostels in very local communities, there's always people who used to hang around those hostels because they want to. You know, a lot of them can't afford to travel, so they like to hang around hostels because it brings the world to them. They start meeting all these people from all around the world. Did y'all ever notice that when staying at the hostels, like from time to time?
But I knew this why people work there.
Yeah, more so. Yeah, especially the people that work there.